want to talk to say hello to my good friend Alberto Daniel Hill. And again, this space is recorded. And Alberto, before we start, could you mind if I read off your bio from your LinkedIn page?
Oh, why
Or is
do
it-
I can talk about myself without reading? I know,
Yeah,
I
good.
know,
That would be better. That would be better. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I know. Yeah, that's right. Well, guys, I am a computer engineer. My name is Alberto. First of all, Alberto Hill. I am from Uruguay, South America, and I am a computer engineer. And I have been working for like 20 years into information security in different fields, such as computer forensics, consulting. I have a PMP certification, which is a project management professional from the PMA organization, and that allowed me to lead many projects implementing information security management systems based on the norm ISO-IEC 27000, which I am also certified on that norm. And well, I am the first hacker in Uruguay that was sent to prison, but that's not the main point. The main point is that I was sent to prison just for trying to help. I was sent to prison without being guilty of any crime. And well, I am here with my friend Tonya that I met on Twitter Spaces. And well, she invited me to talk in a space with her, and I'm very honored to be here today.
Thank you. And I want to welcome everyone to this nice space. I see we have my Jason, who I met also on Twitter Spaces, Bunsen and Beaker, who hosts an incredible Twitter Spaces. Make sure you follow him because he does a great work. And also my good friend Jason, who is an incredible guitarist. He plays beautiful music for me. And hi there, Shaskarima, the sky, as we follow each other. How are you? And hi, Mike. How are you, Space Mike? And also, let's say hi to Mr. Proctor 31 and also to Samantha. Hi, everybody, and welcome to this space. And again, another disclaimer, we are recording this space. I am running an analytics on this space. So if you could, go ahead and share this out, invite all your friends. Even if they're not seen on the space, there are people listening to us right now according to this software. I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things that you experienced, but what made you decide to like reach out? I mean, so they say that no good deed go unpunished. Alberto, I wonder, can we talk a little bit about that? And what made you decide to reach out and to help your country
Well, do you mean after or before being arrested?
before being arrested? I mean, did
Okay,
you thought that you would get arrested for doing this?
absolutely not. It was something that never crossed my mind. It was something that for me, it was impossible that would never happen. I mean, if you ask anyone from my school when I was a child, when I was in university, I was the probably the most introvert person in the class. The person that I mean, if you have told any one of my ex. Friends from college who will be in prison if you have to choose one person in the future, I would probably be the last in the list to to be considered. No, never crossed my mind. And as I work in cybersecurity, one of the key things that we do is finding vulnerabilities and problems in systems. You may find them in the place where you work and you are paid for finding them. I mean, that's part of your job. Or actually, when you go to your house and you turn on your computer, you can also find security problems in systems that are not under your control. And yeah, I did find a lot of problems in many systems, and all the time I reported them in order to help the people that both the companies that are involved and the people whose information is stored in those systems that are being vulnerable without wanting anything in return. I mean, there are no bug bounties programs here in Uruguay, so you do it just to help. You don't get, I mean, you don't get it sometimes a thing in return, but I consider that that's the thing to do because otherwise somebody with bad intentions will probably find the same problem you found, and they will be affecting the private information of a lot of people, which I wouldn't like, because privacy for me is something precious, and I respect other people's privacy, and I want my what I would don't want to I don't want to be invading my privacy, even though my life is quite public right now. But I really think that privacy should be really respected. But I have reported for years, not to the companies to where I found the problems, but to the CERT of my country. The CERT is an agency of the government that handles all the security incidents that are linked to the government and to critical systems, or important systems such as medical providers, for example, or financial institutions. And well, I have done it for years, uh, and I never had any problem, until I found a very important security issue in a medical provider that was the provider of my ex-girlfriend, where she wanted to set an appointment in the system, and she gave me the computer to do that. And well, before she gave me her username and password, I was already in the system with the privilege of administrator, being able to see absolutely everything about the provider with the username admin and the password admin, which is something that is uh, hard to believe, but it was true. So I immediately reported that to the CERT, and then I forgot about it, because you just reported and you don't need to get any update, or you don't have to know how the incident is being handled or solved. That's not part of of the report. You are just the person who reports it, and that's it. And a year after that, I went again to the same website, and when you are in this field for so many years, you can smell when a system has security flaws just by taking a look at it, and you see certain patterns or certain indicators that the site can be easily hacked, to put it that way. And again, in 5 minutes, I was able to access to all the medical records of all the users of the system, just modifying a parameter in the URL, which means, for example, you had a URL that had a number on it at the end, and you just change that number and you start surfing through all the records without being authenticated in the system, which means you didn't need a username or password. Anybody could access to that information just having the URL, and I reported it. 2 years after that, September 2017, Interpol visited me, arrested me, and I was sent to prison accused of having hacked the medical provider. That's what happened to me.
You mean they actually use the word admin as a password?
Yes, believe it or not, it's a problem that goes back like to 1960s, that it was first pointed out as a big problem, and it still is it is 2021, but you still find systems that have that problem, and there are worst scenarios. I have found vulnerabilities in systems, and I mean SCADA systems, such as those that controls the pump of the gas stations, where you can access via telnet without using even a username and password. You just connect via telnet, and you can execute remotely commands to modify the parameters of the pumps in the gas stations, which is even worse than using admin.
Oh, so I'm not gonna let anyone up yet to grab the mic yet. Give me about 10 minutes. I want to kind of like do some chat with Alberto. So Mike, don't be upset. I got you. So we'll get you up here. But because I have a lot of questions to ask, because and besides, I want to kind of like touch base on his books, because I didn't realize how many books he had going on. There's a lot, and it's on his profile if anybody wants to take a look at it. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, like I think all of us in this space it has social network, right? We have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all this stuff. And I've had friends who have lost their account. Someone hacked in. They went in. They like pretty much copied their account and created another one. Especially Facebook. Facebook was like an incredible place that has happened to a lot of my friends actually. So, what would you do when your account and let's say Facebook is compromised? What should someone do?
Well, that is a question that somebody from Facebook should answer. It's a very frustrating situation, but from my experience, I mean, I have to clarify. I hate Facebook, so that's the point number one. I hate Facebook, so I am not somebody who knows a lot about it because I don't use it. I have an account in Facebook, but I really refuse to enter to it. I don't know what was the last time I entered, but when it comes to losing your account, I strongly believe that Facebook has implemented several processes and mechanisms in order to recover that, such as having, for example, friends contacts that can allow you to to verify that you are the person who is requesting to gain again access to certain account if it's been lost. um, so you maybe you also have some kind of security questions such as showing images of friends and having to link them to names in order to prove that you know the people, in order to prove that you are the person who is claiming the account back. And I think that those controls probably work pretty well. So it's not like, okay, I got hacked and I have to forget about my account. The few cases I know were solved that way. Uh, you should always have a backup email and, well, two-factor authentication and things like that. But that doesn't mean you are protected. If somebody hacks into your Facebook account, they can change up immediately everything that you have set for recovery. But nowadays, all the systems normally requires you certain steps in order to modify that. For example, if somebody gets access to my Twitter account right now because they know my password, they will need my second factor authenticator in order to log in. But in case they get into my system because, for example, they steal my cookie session, stealing the cookie session, not to be technical, means stealing your session of the system you are using. If somebody steals that cookie, then it is you that they take the account. It is basically you who is surfing the account, and they can go to account settings and try, for example, to change the password immediately. But in order to change that password, you need to enter the previous password, and probably you also need my second factor authenticator. So stealing the cookie, which is the most mm, let's put it easy way to steal an account from Twitter or from any service, because stealing as a if they steal your session cookie, they grab your identity. They don't need your password. So to resume to answer your question, just report that to Facebook and try to follow the steps that are part of the process of recovering, and you're going to probably be lucky. Uh, Unfortunately, I assume that certain amount of people are not lucky enough to recover that account. I have to start from zero, and that's a big issue because the account that is being stolen can be used I mean, they can contact your contacts and send them information or ruining your reputation. Basically, if they want, there are uh, many things that motivate somebody to hack an account. One is could be revenge. Another could be just to prove that they can do it. But the reason behind that is secondary. The fact is that you lost something that belongs to you and have information about you that you should be in control of. And once you are being hacked, you lose that control, and what they can do with your account is not up to you, and that's really something that makes you frustrated and powerless. That's something terrible.
Yeah, I think that's everyone's nightmare. Everyone in this space, I think we all are worried about that. And yeah, and thanks for like sharing some of your tips here. And I know you have your next your Twitter space is your own is coming up at 6 o'clock, which you'll go more in more detail, and I'll be co-hosting with you. So I think
Yeah,
add
I
more to
also
it.
also will be Nana will be basically she has a lot of content regarding those topics that we'll be talking about. So Nana will be co-hosting with you. Samantha will be also telling the what it is to what it feels to be hacked, how the life of a person is being impacted when it is hacked, and her story can open the eyes of the people to know that if you are being hacked, it's really serious. So do anything you can to prevent that. But because when it happens, things can get out of your control, and your life can really turn into a nightmare. So her story can really help a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, I as social media has been around for a long time, and I'm one of those people that literally shared everything, every part of my what I ate, what I did, what events I'm at. I didn't even think about it. I don't know if anyone remember Foursquare or not. I remember just not thinking about it. I'm just always checking in, trying to be the mayor of a space, like of a restaurant or something, just to be there. And we never, not once did we ever thought that wow, someone could come to your house and rob you, or steal your identity based on what your profile you set yourself up. So can you give us some little tips on what we should do from now on, especially now that we're all so transparent and always sharing online?
Well, actually, my recommendation is, guys, do not do what I do. Do not share when you when you go to the street. I take a picture and I put okay afternoon in Montevideo, and I also put a timestamp in the picture showing the date and the hour. Don't do that, guys. Don't do what I do. There's no need to expose so much information about you. Everything you share can be used and probably will be used to I mean, people are there, and as I said, the motivations for hacking are huge, but one of them is just to prove that you can do it. And I think, let me see, okay, there's a guy that I follow that he's a hacker that goes after people that are pedophiles. He hacks those accounts, for example. That's his motivation to go after those kind of users. Um, well, just the question is, why are you on Twitter or in any social platform? If you want to connect with friends, then just create a private profile and connect with the people you know and you want to be in touch with, and don't allow any stranger into your network if that's what you want. If you want, for example, like me, to be known and to I don't know how to say to 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 spread a message to create awareness about certain topics and basically uh, uh, get to be known. I share too much information probably that I try to think about it in terms of cost and benefits or risk and benefits, and put everything in a scale. And well, I I post too much information about me that I shouldn't, but I think it's worth what I get back from it. I mean, I get the attention and engagement from people that they are curious and go to my profile and follow me, and then those people are able to hear my story. So my message is being delivered due to that. Let's call it a strategy of sharing my life and knowing that I am a real person, that I am genuine, that the person that's behind this user name that I used, like my real name, my real picture, it is me. So that's the strategy that I use. the tips that I tell you, don't do that. Don't do what I do if you don't want something like me. Um, well, when it comes technically to security, use two-factor authentication always. Don't use the same password in every social platform or system. I have to admit, in certain cases, I do commit that mistake because passwords are so fucking disgusting to remember, and I mean, I really hate passwords. And everybody does hate passwords because nowadays we probably have in average each one of us may have like 100 passwords to enter to different systems. And you have these applications that can manage those passwords for you to make your life easier, but they're also a pain in where, and it's much easier to use the same password everywhere. And at one point, I decided I wouldn't remember or try to store any password. So whenever I needed a system, I just went to the system and click on forgot password and got an email with the link to reset it. So my strategy was, okay, forget about remembering the password. Just go to the system and click I forgot password, because I never really cared to remember it or restore it, and get a new one. So I reached that extreme of not trying to remember passwords, just resetting the password each time I wanted to enter into a system. Okay, that's the point. The single point of failure is your email. If your email gets compromised, you can reset all the passwords everywhere, and you can gain access to every system, because once you lose your email account control, that's linked to probably all your systems, and that's a big issue. So put a lot of energies and try to use strong passwords and two-factor authenticators and security codes in order to protect your most valuable accounts, such as your email, probably your social accounts too. You have to identify which is the account that is most important for me, and if I lose, that will really, really affect me a lot, and really cause me a really bad effect. And well, once you identify that account, put all your energies on putting the most controls that you can on that account to protect it. Watch the logs of using it. Try to identify any pattern that is not it's suspicious, and be also very careful with third-party plugins that we all use, that we are allowing other applications to connect to our accounts. For example, Tonya right now is using a software to analyze this room in order to get statistics and analytics about the people that are here, the time that I'm speaking, for example, is being collected, and that application needs to connect to your Twitter account. So you are granting access to a system that you are not controlling, that is not part of Twitter. And what if that system, intentionally or not, it might be hacked, and they can access to your information in Twitter, and basically steal your account. So be careful when installing those kind of things. There are some uh, applications that tells you, okay, with this application you can get like 1,000 followers if you install it. Okay, those things that are too good to be true, they are not true. Do not be tempted by those kind of applications, because they will, in the best case, they will just use your account to send the spam, and in the worst case, they will steal your account. So be careful with those kind of things.
Yeah, I can never. That I don't like. I like application that tells me analytics. That's my addiction. I think, because I sign up for anything. As long as you
Well,
give me the analytics, I sign up for it.
well, it was my fault, so I will feel guilty if something happens because of that. But I knew you loved that. So you were speaking yesterday in the room, and I don't remember where, but I just had to stop the conversation and said, "Wait, wait, 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 Tonya, I found this," and you said me, "Okay, send it to me via direct message," because I had to interrupt the conversation, because when I found that service, I said, "Okay, this is for Tonya."
Well, I am going to take the time and build the API key out so I can have it myself. But this is the way that so that when I do co-host and I'm able to help anyone out and get the data. And I just found out with this software I can download the audio right then and there. So instead of waiting for Twitter to send me my massive file or even taking right now it's being I'm screen recording on Zoom, which I'm going to make that into an actual live stream video. But I just want to see how it works online.
Can,
And
can you can you tell me, Tanya, for example, if it's showing right now how many fucking minutes I've been speaking because I speak too much.
So right now, according to this software, we have a total of 57 listeners. The maximum listeners was 25, 30.994%, 96. It just counts. And the duration so far is 28 minutes. And total time listened is 8 hours and 26 minutes for myself. So,
Okay,
and then
so
it's going to be
so
able to tell me after we're done. I'm able to find out if I have more than 50 listeners, it will tell me my gender data.
yeah, and also how much time everybody spoke and the times everybody has spoken. It gives you that information. That's really interesting.
And also, what nice thing about this is, what I liked was that it gives me a list of all the listeners. Because I sit here and try to like screenshot and make sure I tag everybody to let them know that that I appreciate them. And but this with this software, it was worth it for me. It was worth it. So I hope everything works out. But because of this software, I went back into my Twitter profile and I had a lot of apps that was connected that I did not. I did social media for a living for my clients, so I had a lot of apps running into Twitter so that I can run analytics for everything that I do. And a lot since I'm not doing any more social media marketing because of COVID and all this stuff. I discovered like, dang, I really have my account open. So, but because of
Yeah,
you, I signed up for it, but I cleaned up my mess. So I
yeah,
appreciate
yeah. No, no, you're more than welcome, Tanya. And it's interesting that the company that built that service started following me on Twitter, and they only have like 3,000 followers, I think, or 5,000 followers. So it's a service that is not known, which is, I mean, not, very few people know about it. I hope they get to be known because it's so useful, and it's obviously a new company that it also works everybody um, uh, uh, for other platforms such as Green Room from Spotify and Clubhouse. So I think Tonya haven't tried with those things, but it works not only with the spaces but social other social chat platforms. So it's very interesting.
actually if for Clubhouse, if you have clubs and everything, it actually tracks all that too. But like I said, I deleted Clubhouse. I might just get back on Clubhouse just to see if it, if the software works or not. But like, can we talk a little bit about your book, and then I want to like give the mic out to some of our listeners in this space. So I'm on Amazon. Actually, we're a Kindle Unlimited um, account membership. So I would like to go ahead and let me let me make Bryce my co-host too since he popped in. Oh no, I can't.
I'm trying to put barbecue and dada, but it doesn't.
Me
It's
see. Let me see. Hold on. Let me let me make him a co-host. Invite to co-host. Hi,
yeah,
Janine. This is my co-host on Wednesday. She's in the space also, and Adam. I freaking love sitting in his space. I got to interview Adam too about SEO and different things that he does. So, okay. So let me. I made him a co-host. Let's see if he
bar-
does it or not.
barbecue is really a problem child when it comes to
Yes.
granting him access because he's really a problem child. Hi, barbecue.
Bryce.
Hello. Oh, is it working? Oh gosh, it's so hard to connect. There's an Android bug out there. It is known for people connecting to spaces. I talked to somebody about one of the developers yesterday, I think. So hang in there. If anybody's having trouble connecting, sometimes they're working on it supposedly.
Yeah, dada. I cannot grant access to dada to be a speaker. I'm sorry.
No,
So
that's okay.
So I'm gonna I didn't get a chance to read your book, but we have the Kindle Unlimited membership. So I'm gonna go ahead and download that, and we're gonna take a look at it, and then I'll bring you back so we can talk further more about your book today, which is more like an author chat, just to like get people to know you and have like this is like your pre-event because I think I'm looking forward to your Twitter Spaces that you're hosting at 6 o'clock. So, so you self-published this, your book, Log Into Hell: A Hacker Story. Did you publish it first in Spanish and then you publish it in English, or vice versa?
Well, first of all, I never thought I would ever write a book in my life. And while I was in prison, once I was in I was in intensive care of the hospital. Then was in just in a regular room, and I was being escorted by four policemen because they made a mess with the schedules to be controlling me to be. I mean, when you are in prison and you are in hospitals, a police has to be there to control that you don't escape. And they make a mistake with the schedules, and at one point four policemen were uh, looking over me, and I was thinking, okay, the people here would probably think that I am like the king of, I don't know, the mastermind, or the czar of the cocaine drug. I mean, they would think that I'm like the most dangerous person on earth because four policemen are here to watch me. And I thought I should write a book about this because this is really crazy. And I said, no, I will never write a book. But then I I decided to write a book because I needed to express and to share with the world my experience and all the things I wanted to say that I wasn't given the space or the way of doing it. And the media here treat my case in a way that was very not professional. They said things about me such as that I was somebody who has a story of cyber crimes, that I access to other people's bank accounts and stole money from there, that I was into the carding business, which means I was cloning credit cards, and that appeared on the front page of the most important newspaper in Uruguay. Uh, that is something that I am going to take civil actions against that person because they cannot make those statements. I mean, first of all, it's the police. The police is not the one that decides whether you're guilty or not guilty, and they cannot accuse you of crimes that you were not accused in the legal system. It's just something that they post, I don't know where, just to ruin my name or to try to uh, make me look as something that I am not, in order to show how good they were to arrest me. And well, the most important journalists in Uruguay know about me. I know about my case. I actually been invited, and I was in several TV shows talking, for example, about the dark web. They contact me because they know I am a referent in cybersecurity and hacking, and when they need somebody to speak about certain topics, I get invitations to talk on the radio and on TV. But they never, nobody ever approached me to make something about speaking about my case, uh, even though they know it. They are. It's a subject that nobody wants to touch here because I think the the politics implication it may have, and they will basically uh, don't want to. They don't want basically to say bad things about the police or the government because they need them in order to get their information. So everywhere in the world, my story has been covered and creates a lot of interest, except in my country. The the book was just something that helped me to relieve that need of expressing myself, and I could explain point by point all the things that were wrong and all the lies and inconsistencies in the story that was being told, and how the things that I supposedly did were not possible. So I self-published it. I started writing it when I was released from prison, but then I stopped it. And last year I decided, okay, I will do it. I started writing it first in English and then in Spanish. The version in Spanish was released first, and it was self-publishing. Then, for the English version, the approach was that I started from zero, from scratch. I mean, I didn't use the Spanish version and translate it in order to get the book. No, I started from zero, telling my story in a different way. I hired an editor before prior publishing it, which I mean what was very smart for me. I mean, I was completely new to the world of writing. I read a lot about writing for dummies, and I started with writing for dummies, and then I read many other books and watched videos on how the process of writing is. And well, my objective was not getting rich with the book, so my main goal was to get the most audience that I could reach. Uh, the English version was then released after hiring an editor, which cost me some money, but was worth it to have a very presentable book that uh, very that something that is professional, and somebody that is an expert review it. So I was really happy with the English version of the book. It doesn't with the Spanish version of the book. I didn't actually like it much, the result, but I'm always working on improving it, because you can always change that. I mean, the main distribution source is Amazon, but it's also available on Barnes and Nobles and many other stores worldwide. I mean, it's available like in 20 places, different places that you can buy in Uruguay, in the United States and worldwide. But the goal was just to share my story with the world. I didn't want to get rich with it or anything like that. Just get the people to know my story and understand how wicked is the system and the media, how it manipulates information. And well, I was saying yesterday that the a few days ago the judge allowed, not allowed, said that all the things that were cited for me should be returned, because they were not linked to any crime, to any illegal activity, and that thing will never appear on the media, because the media will just keep the story that the Interpol captured as dangerous cyber criminal. They will, that will be
Oh,
for
you
the
can
record.
change that. You know that, right? You can
Yeah,
like this. I do online reputation management, so I get hired to like if I
Oh,
get in trouble. So I turn around and
so should I put
change
my
it.
password as admin123?
yes,
No,
yes,
Mike.
no,
Sorry,
no,
man. I had to say it.
no, because I have already entered into your account and I have changed it, so you can access anymore. Sorry, sir.
Mike, I knew you were. I think Jason was here from Bunsen and Beaker, but he left. But Mike, you had a question to ask before. Was that the question you wanted to ask?
Are we doing Q&A, or what's the process here at this point? I see Raheel uh raising hand. I'll pipe down.
There is no process. Just shoot, ask me, Mike.
Okay,
Hello,
so Rahul,
everybody.
go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to raise a question on. I would ask Alberto that what are your views on the Pegasus, the security, the Pegasus hacking system going around in the world at the moment?
Well, that's a whole. I mean, I made like four or three spaces about that I was invited to. So that's a topic that I will summarize. It's just something that is going on, that is the tip of the iceberg, that it only created uh, awareness because of the coverage of the media, that told that the what was going on with Pegasus. But it's a fact that all the governments in the world, use this kind of tools in order to monitor the activity of certain people, because they gather information from the people, and information is power in order to control, and that's what the governments do. Pegasus, well, it's a very sophisticated piece of software that was developed in one of the countries that is most powerful in terms of skills and knowledge about security and hacking, which is Israel. And it's something that makes you basically a victim of espionage without any kind of protection. I mean, if you are going to be a victim of Pegasus, there's nothing you can do. Basically, it's a software that uses what's called zero-click exploit. You don't have to do anything. You just have to be targeted, and you're infected. So, but I want to point out, for me, it's just something that I knew it was happening, and it's happening with other software that is not already. I mean, nobody have found out yet, but I'm sure that there are other software that are doing the same. There are companies such as Hacking Group from Italy and other companies that produce those kind of software. And the thing is that they cost millions of dollars because they are sold to the governments, and the budget they have is so huge that they are able to buy zero-day exploits for millions of dollars, and they make a lot of money because the governments are very willing to pay that money to know and spy on what other people doing and the information they are exchanging. So Pegasus, it's just something that tip of the iceberg. Uh, we there are tons of other kinds of monitoring. I mean, I am basically monitored by my government. I am aware of that. They use a program of the El Guardian that was bought from Brazil in 2013, and we only knew that fact because it was a secret bought from the government, but the process of buying was leaked. So the press published that the government bought that software. Otherwise, we wouldn't know that they are using that software. It was just because they leaked the information of that secret buy, and it was posted on the media, on the newspapers, and you could see the price, the conditions, the company that sold it, and well, you don't have to worry much about Pegasus. Um, we have to assume that that's going on, and there's nothing we can do. Just don't get involved in criminal activities, because they will have the information to go after you. Just continue with your life and don't get paranoid with that.
Okay, so all in all, it's all about focusing on the government. They are, and it's all about protecting the national security of the respected countries. So I believe that we should be using antiviruses to in order to overcome these viruses. I believe.
Yes, we should all use antiviruses in our computers, our mobile devices. We should all do that. But when it comes to being monitored by the government, that's useless. There's nothing you can do. I'm sorry, but if you're going to be monitored by your government, you can have the best antivirus in the world, the best, well, the best. You can protect yourself do all the best practices about security, and you will be monitored. I'm sorry, that's the way it is. Antivirus works for other kind of attacks or other kind of things, but that doesn't work when somebody who has unlimited budget to monitor people wants to monitor you. That antivirus solution is not. It doesn't work for that.
Hey, Alberto, I had a couple of quick questions for you. As it relates to your book and your story, do you think now the charges that were pressed by the state of Uruguay against you, Do you believe that there were actual crimes committed that got falsely attributed to you, or do you think that they had you on something and they wanted to build this bigger case against you for some other reason?
Well, actually, I think there are political reasons that I don't want to mention. That um, I just I cannot mention here. Not
Okay.
I don't even mention them on the book because, as I said, the process is still going, and that might cost me. I mean, I'm fighting against very powerful structures that I don't want to keep bothering or upsetting. But the fact is that the hack, actually, for me, from the evidence that I gather, never happened. So I don't know if it was something from the government political or if it was something of the company of the medical provider that a month after the supposed hack, like 15 people from there were sent to prison because of fraud. So the company was committing some kind of fraud, and maybe, or just maybe, they thought that I had access to everything because they knew I had reported those problems. They might saw me as a threat that I could possibly have had access to certain information that they didn't want anyone to know, and maybe the frame was from the medical provider. Those are my that I suppose it's something like that. But unfortunately, I don't have the answer to that question. I wish I had.
Okay, so the speculation for you at this point is that you were a fall guy for legitimate crimes, but you were a fall guy for that, perhaps.
I was the perfect person in order to close a case that was impossible to close, but so many things were so, I mean, I fit perfectly in what they were looking for: a hacker, somebody who knew about hacking and computers, in order to be arrested, to show to the media that the police here is good. It's so good that they could solve these kind of cases and make a show about it. So I was just a perfect guy because the
Yeah.
hacking involves some. I mean, on the other hand, it's stupid because nobody reports security problems about certain systems, and then they hack the systems. I mean, that's something ridiculous. I mean, if I wanted to hack the system, I would have never report the problems. I mean, I would just shut up and hack it
You know
with
what
some.
they say, no good deed goes unpunished. But we have about 6 minutes. I wanted Adam to ask his question, and I also wanted Nana to say some quick words also. Adam, you were asking for something? You wanted to ask a question?
Yeah, just real quick. Was the Pegasus hack? Do you think it was the NGO software that allowed it to happen? If you can speak to it, if you can't, I fully understand. So
Sorry, what did you say? The NSO group,
NGO, the
NG,
software that allowed Pegasus to be hacked.
yes, I think so. Yes, I think so. That's my answer.
All right, thanks, Alberto. I appreciate it. Yeah, I
That's
was
kind of scary.
unfortunately a victim of it. So luckily I got it off my phone, but I'm gonna change phone. And unfortunately, it was just some connections, some friends of mine that I think they were trying to get my their phone number. So um and but the whole situation is just unfortunate, and it makes me sad that like we talk about cybersecurity, and like, do we really have cybersecurity? Is like what I ponder every day. Does it really exist? Does security truly exist?
Yes, and more, and we are all possible targets, and we can all be hacked. I mean, I was hacked. I have no problems to admit it. In one case, I was hacked by myself, but that's another story. But we can all be victims of hacking, no matter what our skills or knowledge are. You, Adam, you know about security among other things. You are a user that is not a average user. You have more
Let's not get
knowledge.
into that. Yeah.
So the thing is that when it comes to Pegasus, for example, you are just somebody who is watching a car crash, but you just can avoid it. I mean, there's nothing you can do.
It's just what I mean. For me, it's watching out for the patterns, but it doesn't help me with my own personal accounts, unfortunately. So, but I hear what you're saying. Thanks for answering that, Albert. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Albert, one more thing, real quick for me. Do you think if this had happened in the United States, do you think you would have been able to mount an adequate defense to protect yourself, or so is what happened a function of the state of Uruguay and their justice system, or is it just it wouldn't have mattered?
It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter. It is sad because nobody ever questioned the security of the medical provider. Nobody ever questioned the lack of actions of the CERT being aware of the problems, because they could have forced the medical provider to change the system or improve the systems and don't let them operate under such low security infrastructure. And nobody ever said, okay, Alberto reported these problems, the medical provider should have really focused on security. The government should really have monitored those implementations of security, but nobody did nothing. It was lack of action. That it was like having the door of your house open for 3 days. Somebody eventually will enter. And we're talking about a time frame of years since my first report on the hack. We're talking about the first report was 2014. The hack was in February 2017. Uh, and the problem, I have to say this, at the end of 2016, I entered the system and I crashed it. I crashed it unintentionally because I wanted to make a search of information of my ex-girlfriend that requires a filter of certain information that only allows a 6 months period. And I didn't want to do like 20 requests of 6 months period, so I altered the code and I make it a search of 10 years. And the system crashed. I mean, it stopped working. It was my fault. I did it. I crashed the system. It was not a crime here, at least. And nobody ever mentioned that. I mean, nobody ever reported that. And I crashed the system of the medical provider because they did keep having the problem. They never solved anything. And well, uh, then I got arrested for because why they arrested me also because they have my IP address in the logs that I was doing a port scanning on the system, which is something that I do with my bank. I do everywhere. I mean, something that it has nothing to do with hacking. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and shut this space down.
Okay.
Alberto is be starting his next. And again, this space is recorded. It's going to be distributed all over the internet. I just want to let everyone know it would be an audio and video. And I'm also running a analytics on this so that I'm able to go ahead and thank everyone that attended today. And I appreciate everyone for popping in. And Alberto, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you in 2 seconds. Bye, everybody.
Bye
Don't
bye.
forget to follow Alberto. Bye.